This guy, whoever this is, IB, whatever, this Volkswagen. Yeah, it went by aggressively twice. They came out, they sat there, facing the library, went out twice. Anything they could have did, they had enough space to go into the parking lot or come out or turn back this way or whatever. They could have did it. And the thing that I want to do to send the email to a noted attorney, I'm trying to do attachments from the phone that I have. I can't even do the attachments properly from the phone. Initially, I was able to do it before. When I had first downloaded the app, I was initially able to do attachments before. Now, for some reason, I can't do attachments, from the phone. So this being Saturday, what I have to do is go someplace else because a lot of the publicly funded institutions like this Reykjavik Library and others, a lot of city municipal stuff, aside from the places that show off to, that are the showpieces. If it's not a showpiece place that deals with international businessmen or the really wealthy or the elite, like a lot of public libraries, the elite don't go to public libraries. The elite patronizing them, but they don't go there. So what happened, long story short, I have to go to someplace else privately funded or whatever to whatchamacallit, to deal with to deal with whatchamacallit, to deal with and I was looking at two tourist people that were walking sort of behind the gate in the distance, where normal people you're not really supposed to walk behind it, or back up in there where the cars are driving. You're not supposed to, but if you're of the right ethnicity, people can let a lot of things come pass because a lot of the paradigm of suspicion is painted on ethnicities. Like her ethnicity, you see, she's like a Korean or Han type of Chinese ethnicity. They can there's a sort of they can do whatever they want to do anywhere and go anywhere they want. There's no real pall over them. Their thing is usually there's a blanket of tourists, innocent tourists, but blacks and all that is so anyhow, I gotta go to another place because, like I said, the public places like here, public libraries. Whereas when I go to the university library, that's a private library. It's public, but it's really it's university, it's academia, which is different than just a rather generic public library. The academia library, which has other sources of funding than just the municipality. The Wi-Fi is far better. It's probably the best Wi-Fi around, besides the Gray Line bus office. Best Wi-Fi around here, and I use it frequently. So this is why, because if I were doing other things, it would be very data intensive, and I have gotten no phone calls yet. I'll show you what time it is on this old phone that was given to me as a gift. No phone calls yet, no messages, no nothing from Mr. Mansour. 3 days, going on 3 days or more. Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing, zero, zip. You know what I'm saying? And and the thing is that I hate to marry outside of the deen, outside of the nikah, to marry outside of Islam. I really, not in the full sense of the word hate, but I don't want to use the word loathe, Loath, but it's I fear it. Let's put it this way: I fear it. I really fear it because I don't think I have the fortitude nor the spiritual mettle, Mettle, to be able to marry somebody out of necessity, to put something in their hole, in a woman's hole, so I don't go crazy. Out of, I don't want to call it desperation, but you need what the woman has between her thighs. A man needs it desperately, and the affections that go along with that. Whereas people like my ethnic group, we're not allowed this. What you see here, this scene of a father with their family, we're not allowed to have that. We're seen as a blight, Blight, a blight on the world. Anything that we produce or any of our issue is all a blight, on the world. You see what I'm saying? So I can see something discreetly genocidal. As I sit here as a black, everybody they pass, even if I'm not looking, they pass and they see my dark skin. People look right up at the window. They know, they notice that. Yeah, man. People look right up at the window, man. And that little girl walking, she's no more than 11 years old. Allah forgive me, man. God forgive me. You should see how tight her pants was, to the point where the buttocks, the jutting out of a little bit of buttocks she got, was highly actuated. Highly actuated. Yeah, you should have seen it, man. You know. And the thing is, and this woman here walking with the thing, she got big buttocks too. That's right. She got some buttocks on her, the one behind everybody. And you know, and the thing is, but to get a hold of them and to catch them, it's like catching a wild mare. And I don't like to equate women to animal husbandry. It's like a wild mare trying to lock them down. That's why the Sufi Icelandic brother, God bless and always protect him, man. He said, and God is, he said, our women are like wild horse. Like trying to get the wild horse, trying to lock them down. Them and the Celtic women. It's hard to lock them down unless you're physiologically stronger and they can see strength on you. Then you can lock down, then you can start pounding them. But then another challenge, if you want to pound them and love them, and love them and pound them, for the rest of your life, is to be able to keep them. That's even harder. That's worse. Because we have all these fickle needs and they change. They're dynamic and they're cyclical and they're variable. They change, man. Yeah, they change, man. There's got to be a consistent chord, some type of chord for me and my ancestry and who I am. That chord, as dysfunctional and painful as melancholic as it has been for me, that chord for me has been appears to be August to be Islam. That's the chord that fits me the most. So there was something very intense, something very discreet and very concerted, targeted to dissuade me, to push me out of Islam, to get rid of me out of this religion. They don't want me having this religion. There's some kind of blessing in this religion, man. Like you look at this young woman here walking, right? And you're horny. Yeah, man. The distance of that woman walking there, that one woman, or whatever her age is, the distance is like between me and the nearest star, or Alpha Centauri. Yeah, the distance to me and me striking up any kind of relationship, be it amicable or be it amorous. Yeah, is as far as the nearest star, an astronomical unit. So damn thanks, man. But within Islam, the proximity is very near. Just being within that circle, no matter how devout or how lackadaisical your practice is, yet just being within that circuit, the possibility of it, the proximity of marriage is very, very near. Very, very near. See that white vehicle went in? I didn't see the vehicle pick up anybody. And I saw the Coast Guard trawler, the little patrol boat coming. The white vehicle pulled in angrily and he pulled out angrily. Listen to my words carefully. He pulled in angrily and he pulled out angrily. See, what's hanging over me is something involving a lot of anger, a lot of irrational, biased, prejudicial anger and rage. Yeah, a lot of rage, man, a lot of anger. That you won't buckle down like any other citizen and do what it would, and put your nose to the grindstone. These old American singers say, put your nose to the grindstone, rub that elbow grease, and get what you have to do, and do what you have to do, and get yours, and do what you have to do. After these people, man, infrastructurally and systematically, there ain't no get yours, man. Particularly when you pass my age and appearance, and your mouth, and your teeth, and your grooming, and all that, and your balding head. Yeah, forget it, man. Forget it, man. There is no more get yours, man. They whittled enough of the time away till you're no longer viable. You're not a viable candidate for anything at that time. And this is called dilatory. It's called a dilatory, a dilatory tactic. This is called dilatory techniques. This is what these people do, man. And the problem is that we have some Muslims, so-called Muslims, that are embedded inside, that are working for the other or adversarial interest against the religion in general. I'm talking about against the benign. There are malicious, malevolent aspects of Islam that have emerged and that have been always innate in Islam itself for decades, for centuries, for time immemorial, for centuries. And in the peoples where it originated from, there's been the lethality there. But I'm talking about only focusing on the benign, innocuous aspects of it. There's something to get rid of that, and it's involving women too. Yeah, that's what I said. Women. I told you, I'm a guy that voted for President Trump. Women. Yeah, they're emasculating the men, and I see it very clearly. Because the old generation, I remember the way things were. Even in the 1970s and 80s, I remember that time quite clearly. I see the men now heavily emasculated, and they're trying to hit Islam now. Take those hair covers off. Take those damn burqas. Rip off that burqa. Put on that bathing suit. Put on that bikini. Let that hair hang out. Not on the makeup. Forget about that niqab and all that. Forget those guys and all of that. And what I'm saying is, I do want the choice to be there, but I don't want them to totally shun men, because just like the professor Ray Forrest out of Hong Kong was saying when he was talking about advanced populations such as in Hong Kong, Chinese populations, and European populations, where the cost of living is skyrocketed, where it's preventing people from moving out on their own. They have to stay with families, because when they move out on their own, it's more likelihood that they're going to have amorous partners and start producing family issue, offspring, children. Without that, it's an unlikelihood in their other people's homes that you're going to be having children. So it cuts down. So I think this raising of prices and difficulty for people to have their own places, even in the high modern world as you see me here, the local population is struggling like hell. They're suffering to have their own apartment. They can't even have their own apartment. I think it's a social mechanism, and it's a machination towards reproductive control, but it was really meant for the darker hued ethnic groups. That was meant really for them, the darker hued and immigrant population ethnic groups, where they don't care if they do it in rooms. They live in rooms within the same place, and each one has their separate room, and they share the kitchens. They don't care. They pop in 1, 2, 3, 4 offspring issue, children in that environment, which we Westerners, being myself, even though I'm of Negroid Afro ethnicity, multi-generational American, maybe a minimum 150 to 200 years. My bloodline has been in America post slavery. But the thing is, we Westerners would feel embarrassed to have children and living in rooms in the same apartment house with different families, and each having his own room and sharing the kitchen. We would feel it would be wrought with discord and dissension, especially my ethnic group, and being from the West. There would be no harmony in that place. I can assure you of that. In there, man. Whereas people of Latino ancestry, Mexican, Asiatic, they get along peachy just fine, man. In the most crowded of conditions, we can never get along like that. Man, as proud and pampered as we are, man. I want my own place, and I want my own car. And you have and to the point, here it is not a common phenomenon for people to have 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, and to equally have 2 and 3 bathrooms. It's an unusual, unheard of. Whereas in the U.S., it is ubiquitous to have 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms. The half one being only the toilet without a shower, or actually 2 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms, shower and the toilet. Yeah, this is the norm in the U.S., but this is unusual here, man.